Hi, this is Kendall. In this volume of the Big Six, we're going to challenge shoulder stability, core activation, and also look at the lower body in terms of hip position, knee position, and then some foot and ankle considerations. So the first thing we're going to get into is going to be a pelvic tilt. So again, we're working through the pelvic tilt, just really trying to wake some things up. So it'll look like this where we arch up. We also call this a pelvic clock, so you get some extension. And then you're going to pull the bottom of your ribs and your belt line together. All right, so that's going to be a little bit of flexion. We're going to work back into extension, get a little bit of flexion. If this is not challenging, you can straighten your legs and work extension, then into flexion. You can get your arms involved, extension here, and then into flexion. And so really what you're trying to do is take the pelvis, if it was a wheel, rotate this way, and then back that way. And we could do those for 10 or 12 or 20, just depending on how challenged you want to feel. All right, so next we're going to do a tabletop progression, and this one we're going to do a toe tap, okay? So we're going to start in this position. We're going to take your hands up over your head if your fitness level allows. If not, you can have your hands down at your side, or you can have them here. So from this position here, we're going to stay engaged. The pelvis is not going to move around a ton. Tap, tap. You go for 10, then I want to do heel tap. Again, still trying to keep the pelvis stable. So for example, if I drop here, but I arch my back to get there, that's not what we really want. So we're going to try to stay stable. All right, so again, it's toe tap, then heel tap. Good. So next we're going to do rolling. The key here is to mimic maybe a little bit of what happens with walking. So you get the upper body and lower body working well together. That also challenges your core. So our first two exercises kind of build on activating the core. So let's try rolling. So starting here, you start lying on your back, you roll. All right. Then roll back. Good. If you want to make this more difficult, you can act as if your upper body is completely limp, whether your arms are down here or up here, and just use your legs to drive. Or you can act as if your legs are dead and just use your upper body to drive that rolling. And so if you think about rolling here, that mimics some of what happens with walking. Next, we're going to do a quadruped walkout. And this is again to work through hip extension. We're going to challenge the shoulders a little bit, but also kind of work down the chain. So from this position, you've got two options. You start here, everything in line, your toes under you, and then you're going to walk into an elbow, plank on elbow position, and you can go here for more difficulty, or you can go knee down. If you want to progress it, your walk could be into that position. All right, next we're going to do a plank progression. I'm going to keep these maybe a little simpler than we'll do, let's say, in clinic or in a training session. But what we want to try to do is engage, again, the core. Don't necessarily like holding planks for time. What we want to do is work on the efficiency of getting in and out of positions, maintaining some good alignment and great core engagement. So I'm going to start lying in this position, or you can start up here and walk into, we're going to go this position. So this is our regular plank here, pelvis tilt. We don't want our hips way up here, but we want our pelvis well aligned. Pushing the ground away with the arms. Then we go into this position. Arm can be up, here, or here. We come down, next position. Good. Then we get to this position. We go one leg up, and then we can come back down, other leg up. And if your shoulder mobility allows, we can get to this position. And that's your plank progression. The next time we do a progression, it may be a bit more involved, but it's just a way to kind of work through getting everything engaged. Okay, finally we're going to go from prone or lying on your stomach to a deep squat position. This is how we learn movement from birth through the age of 2, 3, 4. But if you think the best movers in the world are between maybe 3 and 6 or 4 and 6, if we can learn to squat or to load our hip, knee, and ankle from the ground up, we may be better or more efficient at squatting with weight. So we'll start here, prone, come up to quadruped. We get our feet in a good position, torso in a good position, knees up. Walk back into a deep squat. Walk back to that position, then back prone. If you want to challenge, you can go where you reach up with one hand, reach up with the other hand. If it's difficult, getting on your tiptoes and then trying to work back, maybe into that position each time. So if you did 10 of them, maybe by the 10th one, we have your knees, or not your knees, but your feet flat. Great, so that's the big 6. The idea is, let's work on movement for movement's sake. So we can use movement to improve movement. If you have a movement dysfunction, sometimes it's because of pain, sometimes it's because you just hadn't gotten into these positions in a long time. I don't really think that there's a reason or an excuse to not be able to do the things that a 3-year-old can do. Life throws a lot of things at us. Now, if you've had surgeries, if you've had injuries, that's a completely different scenario. Now, within the situation you're in, whether you're in an exercise situation, a rehab situation, that part of it allows you or requires you to do certain things. But as we go through the big 6, one thing I want each one of you to understand is that we need to maintain a certain competency with movement. We need to be able to roll. We need to be able to squat. We need to be able to do the things that we could do at one point in our lives. Now, it doesn't mean that we can do 100% of it, but if we can decrease the amount of dysfunction we have with your basic movements, we're going to find that our quality of life will be much better. Thanks for tuning in.